Falcon fans everywhere, welcome to What the Falcon with T Will and our guy, Scott Carissa. Scott, I see you shaved the beard down. I can dig it. I can dig it. How you doing, man? All well?
I'm doing good, man. Just I don't know what that was, but just been working and knocking out a bunch of stuff and trying to pay the bills.
I hear you, man. Got to pay those bills. Got to pay those bills. So yeah, we've never talked about your dog, and he's always in the background.
Yep,
Um,
Tuggle.
how's your dog? How's your dog?
He is 5 years old.
That's a,
His,
he perked up when I said that. Like you knew I was. He set up like you knew I was talking about him. So he's
his
five.
name is Tuggle.
His name is what?
Tuggle, like
Tug.
Jesse Tuggle.
Okay. And what breed is he?
Mutt.
Okay.
He's like a 3/8 pit and a quarter boxer, or no, quarter beagle, and then the other 3/8 is just random other types of dog.
Okay.
We
Okay.
don't even really know.
Well, I know he loves you because he's always every time you get on a podcast, he is always in the background. Like I am not leaving Daddy. Nope, I'm not doing it. Nope, not gonna do
Yeah.
it. Can't pay me to do it. Nope. I saw you tell him to get off the couch. You know what he did? He got off the couch. He still did not leave the room. He sat right there.
Nope.
Got right
Set
on.
right.
Sat right there. Then you told him to move again. He came over beside you. Sat right there. Didn't move. That's what I love about dogs, man. Dogs are man's best friend. Cats, yeah. I don't have a thing against cats. They're just not as to me, they're not as personable, and a cat wouldn't die for you. Most cats wouldn't. You know what I mean?
So there's a theory that dogs have Stockholm syndrome with humans, but
Okay.
on the flip side, humans have Stockholm syndrome with cats.
I don't know. Not
So
me. Not me. Like I'm a dog person. Okay.
oh
It's
yeah,
funny. My niece has a cat, right? And that cat and I have an understanding. I don't go near him, and he doesn't come near me. Like it's just like no, nope, not gonna do it. Now a dog, every dog that we've had, cool. But cats are so cat. The way I look at cats are, if you got a dog and there is let's say there's a car coming out to hit you, a dog will run out to save your life. A cat will think to themselves, you know what? There's somebody else that lives here. I'm still gonna eat. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Wait, is that your other dog that I see in the background? You got two dogs?
yep.
Okay. Now what's that one's name?
That's Molly. She's an old lady. She's 12. I've had her since she was a puppy. Like back in 2014 I got her, I want to say.
Okay. So
Maybe
how does
before that.
she get along? How she get along with Tuggle?
They get along great, man.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. My brother and his wife have two dogs a lot. So we're a dog fan. Again, like my niece who lives with me has a cat, but I just anyway, whatever. So let's get to it. Today we're not going to talk about Kirk Cousins. Not really. I mean, he was in Cleveland. The GM came out and said that that was much ado about nothing, that Kirk wasn't down here for anything, but I just don't believe that, right?
Okay.
Like, you know,
I mean, we've all done a job interview while we were employed with another company before. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I was just here, and the thing about it is, I think Kirk wants it out there because why would you take pictures, right? If you didn't like Kirk, I'm so over Kirk. I'm
he's
because
he's an attention seeking person.
yeah,
And
yeah.
at this point, we can just brush right past that.
It's like, man, it's honestly, it's like you just do these things to like just agitate, right? because everything that Kirk is doing, his agent could have done. Like you didn't have to request to speak with the manager. Your agent could have done all of that. You pay your agent to be the asshole that you can't be. That's why you pay him, right? You didn't have to go on national TV and say, yeah, I really was hurt. You didn't have to do that at all. You did not have to do that. You didn't have to do any of that. You could have let your agent call around to every NFL team that was interested in you and say, hey, he really was hurt. You didn't have to do that. You chose to do that because you just wanted to be a and I don't understand. I guess for me, the more I think about it, Scott, I'm thinking Kurt was really offended and really upset at the fact that they drafted Penix. And I really think he took that personally. I really do.
I
I think
mean, you don't want your backup plan, your potential replacement to be taken in the first round of the draft that right after you sign your big deal, right? Nobody wants that.
I get it, but Kirk's older and he's got to understand. Like again, I could see the vitriol if you were 31 or 32, dude. You 36 going on 37.
Yeah, like
And, and you're coming off one of the worst injuries for any athlete. We don't know how you're gonna be. You get what I'm saying? So I see Kirk's
like
point.
like if we had taken Justin Fields in 2021, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
If we had done that, Matt Ryan's response would have been very different than it would have been than Kirk's was. Is the best way I know how to put that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm holding Matt to a higher standard because that's how he is. But Matt would have been like, all right, I'll teach this guy. I'm going to still start here for 2 more years, but
Yeah.
I'll teach this guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then once my contract ends, I'm out. Like,
Right. And that's fair. That's all you can
we
ask.
would have been okay with that. We would have been like, all right, that's the plan. And then Matt would have come in and done Matt things. And had he got hurt or played poorly, Fields would have been brought in. And, 2021, Matt wouldn't have left the field except for the couple times he left the field in blowouts. 2022, Fields would have come in and taken over probably about halfway through the year. And Matt would have been like, you know what? That's cool. That's how it should have been, right? Like, I'm going to take a step back. I don't have it anymore, but I'm going to
Mhm.
help this guy. Then Matt's contract would have ended. He would have retired, and everybody would have been cool.
Mhm.
Been like, you know what? I just don't have it. My contract's over. I'll go ahead and retire, and there shouldn't be any more dead money. And the Matt Ryan era was clean and concise and perfect.
I
I'm glad we didn't take Fields though.
I'm
See
glad.
what Fields
Yeah. But I just think Kirk hurt his brand. And I think
yeah.
with this erratic behavior, it's gonna come back to get him in the long end. Like at this point, the way he's acting, wherever you go, you better win. You better,
Yep.
because anything short of that, and you're done.
Or at least not be the reason why they're losing is the other way to look at that. Like if you're up there and you're scoring 28 points a game and you're throwing 2 touchdowns a game and you look like that's like you put up like 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns and like 7 picks. No one's going to sit there and be like, oh, that's the guy. That's why we lost. They're going to be like, I mean, he gave us a good year. He wasn't why we lost. Our defense gave up 50 points a game. Like, that's why we were losing games. So that's the other way to look at it. Like, if he's producing. But I mean, honestly, I'm just tired of talking about the dude. He's not going to be a Falcon in 2025. So why are we even worried about him? I
Yeah.
think you got
I don't.
muted.
Yeah. I
There
mean,
you go.
myself. I don't know why we're talking about him, but hey, whatever. Kirk, good luck to you, buddy. Let's just go ahead and facilitate this trade, get this thing on the road. We got to do some housekeeping. Michael says, fellas, what up, Mike? How goes it, man? Carlo says, Kirk the crash out. I can dig it. We can add it to Kirk's list of monikers. Lisa Shepard likes to call him Karen Cousins. Uh, Monte Carlo likes
Oh, Lisa Shepard.
out. John from Out of Your Falcon Mind likes to call him Dirk Smudgens. And I think Debo uh, Debo Vibes likes to call him Kirko Pinocchio. There are a few others I can't remember, but I remember those. Carlos says he out of his mind if he thinks that he wasn't coming up to an end. Plus, we said he had 2 years until he turned into Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass is from Unbreakable. If you guys aren't aware of the movie lore. All right, so let's get to it, man. What we're gonna do today, Falcon fans and fans of the show and fans of Mr. Scott Karisic himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, he's human. He's gonna break down defenses for us and what each player does. Because hell, I just wanted to know. I hear him talk about it all the time, and this guy's a 5 technique and a 3 technique, and I said, you know what? What does that mean, Scott? So we are about to get into it. Oh, we got Debo that just came in here. Fellas, what the Falcon? What the Falcon indeed, Debo. How you doing,
So,
brother?
so with this, what I'll say is I'm going to go over what each alignment is, what each alignment does, but I'm also going to give you now, I'm going to give you the guy who did it best ever for each of those alignments, right?
Okay. That's what's
Obviously, the guys we have are going to be who's listed on that page. They're not going to be the best ever at whoever did it, right? They're going to be who we have.
I
So the
got you.
names I have there are where I project them in the defense.
I got you. Okay.
But when I'm explaining the position, what each one does, it'll help out a lot.
I can dig it. I can dig it,
So,
man. I can dig it either way. So with that being said, let's get into it. I've been thinking about this all day, so I'm quite excited. Let's take a look at it. And at first, we have what do we have so I can see it? We've got a 3-4 under base defense.
correct.
And we've got
So I
a
like to start.
go ahead.
I
The
was gonna say I
contour.
like to start inside out, which
Okay.
means at the line and move back. So your one technique on the strong side of the formation is it's essentially what a nose tackle used to be, but
Okay.
it's a lot more of a penetrating position, right? So yeah, it's a guy who's going to be your quote unquote nose tackle, but the Falcons never ran a straight up nose tackle zero technique last year, even with
Gotcha.
Goldman, right? Goldman was still running that one technique. I think
Gotcha.
Luke and Graham are the top 2 guys for that role. I don't see anybody else who truly fits it. They did bring back Street, and there's rumor that Street's like in the mix for it, but he's 280 pounds. You want a little bit more.
Beef.
You want a little bit more ass in the seat there, right? You want someone who's gonna have that strength, have that length. Rook has that frame that'll let him grow up to be 315, 320 when
Okay.
he's fully developed. We drafted him when he was 21. He still hadn't gotten that old man weight yet, right? At
Gotcha.
like 25, 26 years old, you gain about 10, 15 pounds. You get a lot stronger. The best guy I can think of that's ever really played that role and has ever really been just like that nasty interior guy, Grady Jackson. I don't know
Okay.
if you remember him, but
Oh yeah. Yeah.
he was one of those guys, like, and he was known as one of those like bigger, stronger dudes right in the middle. Played a lot of zero in his career as well. Zero's head up on the center, but there's a difference between one gap and two gap ideology, right?
Gotcha.
So one gap ideology, if you look at where the guys aligned, that one technique's lined up in the A gap on the strong side. The A gap's the gap between the guard and the center. So he's lined up in that A gap on that side. Your one technique is supposed to be in an A gap, but if you're running a 2 gap scheme, you're going to have your one technique play a zero technique, and his job is to hold the center, and then once the ball goes by him, he decides where he's going.
Okay.
So that's a whole different thing.
in this alignment, right? He's a one technique, right? What
He's a
do me
one
a favor? Tell me the difference between a one technique and a three technique and a one technique and a five technique.
So the
Or
one
tell, tell it everybody who may not know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're good. You're good. So the one technique, not just in this game, but one techniques in general, is always going to be aligned in that A gap off the center shoulder, right? That's the idea.
So right here, basically.
Yes, right where it's shown.
Okay.
The three technique is always going to be aligned in the B gap off the guard shoulder. Sometimes a little bit more of a shade off the tackle, honestly. But that's more of where that three technique's going to be. Some of the best guys to do that ever. You got Warren Sapp, you got Rod Coleman, Grady Jarrett, Aaron Donald. Like those are your three techniques historically. Those guys are just nasty pass rushers. It's a design penetration role. If he's not penetrating, he's eating a double team and keeping your weak side linebacker clean.
Gotcha.
But that's what your three techniques job is to do.
Gotcha.
Get through that guard, use the leverage, basically stuff everything on that side of his field, and penetrate through to get to the runner if it's a run play. This year, the best guys for that are Dorless and Onyemata.
Gotcha.
And I think those guys are who rotates in that role all year. And maybe we see some Harrison there, maybe we see some Fox there, here and there. But for the most part, that's going to be Dorless and Onyemata. Now, the five technique, sometimes six technique, depending on the scheme and how the defensive lineman calls it. But five technique is normally lined up basically on the tackle, but I'm a big fan of more of a six where it's shaded outside of the tackle.
So right out here.
So where you see it on here now, right?
Okay.
And best five techniques ever, guys like Reggie White, Bruce Smith, JJ Watt, just that's the kind of guys that you want. Calais Campbell.
Gotcha.
Those are your best five technique guys ever.
Gotcha.
So with that, like Harrison's playing that role. It's a great role for him. Fox has been playing that role for the Chargers in LA for his entire career, really. He's a five technique. Sometimes he'll slide to three, but he's a five technique guy.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when you have those guys there, their job is to set the edge for the run game, keep that Sam clean if they can, to where the tight end's not on them, but ideally penetrate through that C gap right off the tackle shoulder and get into the backfield, get after the quarterback.
So basically here, this gap right here, right?
Wait, what just happened? Just switched.
You see it? You can't see it anymore?
Yeah, it just switched to the 3-3 Cub.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Sorry about that. All right.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
So this gap right here, where I'm pointing, right here, where the okay, all right, that's the C gap.
That's the C gap, right between the tackle and the tight end. That's considered the C gap. A, B, C.
This would be the B gap then, right here, right? This and this
between the guard and the tackle. Yes, that's the B gap.
And this has got to be the A gap
between center and guard. Yes.
Gotcha. So there.
And
okay,
there's no such thing technically as a D gap because that would be off the tight end shoulder.
Gotcha.
Now, if there's two tight ends on that side of the field, like technically there is a D gap, but we would just say off the inside tight end shoulder, right?
Okay.
You wouldn't say like the D gap. It's just a weird terminology. Even a lot of teams might not say C gap.
Sorry about that. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry. It was the wife. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Now, with linebackers, again, every team is going to be different in what they call the linebackers. Ebiketie Malone might actually be in what's called a Leo. which is a guy who might line up with their hand in the dirt sometimes, might line up with their hand off the dirt. But their job is essentially a weak side defensive end, weak side linebacker role,
Okay.
where they're supposed to be focusing on rushing the passer, getting around that edge, or getting into the backfield, creating havoc.
Okay.
Sometimes this guy will drop into coverage here and there
Okay.
and drive Falcons fans crazy when they see that guy drop into coverage.
Yeah.
But
Remember that.
schematically, that is part of the duties. On the
Okay.
flip side, the Sam, that's going to be the whatever side the tight end is on, that's the strong side for the inside box part, right? So that Sam is always going to be who's aligned with that tight end.
Gotcha.
In this scheme, so some of your greatest weak side linebackers of all time, Von Miller. I mean, honestly, Von Miller is, for this scheme, the 34 scheme, Von Miller is probably your absolute best of all time.
Okay.
DeMarcus Ware is another guy who was fantastic in Dallas and then moved to Sam when he went to Denver, but he's also another guy that fits.
Okay.
For the strong side, Sam, I see Floyd and Trice playing in that role.
Okay.
Again, it's a stop the run. The Sam more than the Will is a stop the run. And then if this tight end's going out for a route, you probably want your Mike or your strong safety to cover it. So that Sam should be a run and then get after the quarterback kind of guy.
Let's talk about Trice for a sec. He got injured last year. What are your impressions of him? I know that you are very granular in your approach to the draft, which means you watch a lot of film. Give me your thoughts on him as he tries to make a comeback this year, and maybe some things that we can expect from him.
I had a first round grade on him.
Okay.
I thought he was probably one of the better pass rushers in this past draft.
Okay.
And just for reference, my top 5 pass rushers in this past draft were Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, Latu Latu, Braylon Trice, and then Jonah Ellis. Those were my top 5 guys.
Okay.
So I like a certain type of player. All 5 of those guys fit that type of player.
Okay.
And Trice is very similar. I think he was the better pure pass rusher than all of them, just in terms of pure like skill set to get after the quarterback, create havoc, force pressure. Like if he was healthy this past year, people wouldn't have been complaining so much about, oh, the Falcons didn't do anything at edge. Well, they did, but the guy they took got hurt, and there's only so much you can do there. We wouldn't have seen Malone out there. We would have seen Ebiketie, Trice, and probably a lot less Lorenzo Carter. If anything, Carter probably wouldn't have made the roster this past year. There's a reason why they let him walk in free agency this year. But yeah, I think Floyd and Trice this year is probably not seeing more than 30% of the snaps because it's tough to come back from an ACL and be just as explosive the first year back.
Yeah.
It takes a full 2 years to truly get back to where you're at. But I think when you bring in Leonard Floyd, you bring in Leonard Floyd, right?
Yeah.
And I think Floyd and Trice on that Sam spot are going to be a perfect fit.
Right. So let's talk about the Mike linebackers.
So I'll be honest, I don't like either Ellis or Bertrand as a Mike.
Okay.
They're good against the run. They get their nose dirty. They're great there. They're good at pass rushing. But I don't think either one of them's that great in coverage. And modern NFL, your Mike has to be able to cover. So unless you're sending that guy very often, Ellis and Bertrand aren't your ideal fits there. And I do think they could find a better fit in the draft, which would move Ellis in this situation probably to more of a Sam role in the base.
Okay.
And then your Will is your true freelancing weak side linebacker. Let him get after the passer. Let him play in coverage. Let him get his nose dirty in the run game. There's going to be a lot of stacking and shedding to clear him out to make sure that nobody gets around the edge. I mean, that's Anderson Diablo. For Falcons fans, best one we ever had in that role was Keith Brooking.
Yeah.
He was great in that role. Sean Weatherspoon was also great in that role. You know, just looking ever, you probably have guys like Brian Urlacher was a Mike, right? You probably have guys like Lance Briggs, fantastic Will.
Okay.
Derek Brooks, although Brooks played in a 4-3, the role is translate in the modern NFL, the roles translate a lot. 1 gap versus 2 gap, all that. Brooks played in a defense that was a 4-3 under. It was a Tampa 2. Like they're very similar defense, right? And then for the Mike, that's your Brian Urlachers, that's your Luke Kuechly. That's why I like a guy like Jihad Campbell in the first round.
Okay.
Because you don't have to rush him back from a shoulder injury here. We've got enough depth to get us by. Let him get healthy, and then maybe he misses a couple games in September, and he's just hitting the ground running mid-September, and he's just killing it at that point.
Okay.
So I think that would make a huge difference in the defense. Give a guy that can rush the passer, cover the ball, cover deep, gets his nose dirty in the run game. Just one of those similar things. Outside corner, pretty much the same in every scheme, right? Terrell and Ford, Hughes and Phillips. Those are probably your outside corners in the base. I mean, it's outside corner. You've got to guard the guy in front of you, or you've got to drop back into your zone.
Yep.
Like run defense, you set that edge, be that last man off that edge to make sure no one gets by you so that your safeties don't get exposed to the run game. Like that's your goal right there. Now your safeties shouldn't get exposed in the run game, otherwise you need safeties, but that's where you're at there. And I do think a big reason the Falcons brought in a guy like Diablo at will is protection in case Anderson gets hurt.
Yeah, which is often.
So it is often. Now, strong safety, you've got Helms and Fuller there. I think Helms actually wins that job, and Fuller signing to a minimum contract doesn't prevent you from letting Helms start. So that's going to be an open competition in that role.
Okay.
Raheem does like to run triple safeties a lot. So Fuller might be more of that dime guy, or even line up at linebacker sometimes if need be, in those nickel and dime sets. But I mean, that's again your standard strong safety for a cover 3, cover 1 defense. He's going to be a guy that's going to run a robber. He's going to be a guy that's going to, cut balls off in the middle. Every now and again, they'll run cover 2, which means, instead of playing that underneath mid zone, that strong safety is going to drop back and cover 2, cover 4. He's going to drop back and cover right behind him and cover either half the field or the mid quarter of the field.
Let's talk about, I don't want to say the miscommunication, but our strong safety last year definitely, I would say, underwhelmed. Do you think it was confusion in the scheme? Like what do you think was the issue?
I think Simmons is just past his prime, is all it is.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, he's 32. He's 10 years in the game. Like, I just think he's past it. Now, would I want him back this year? Absolutely. I thought he played average level safety.
Okay.
And if you're guaranteed an average level safety, that's not a bad thing to have. Bates, your all-pro free safety. He is a stud. Play him in the center field, all of that. But that cover 3 strong safety, cover 1 strong safety that I wish we had, it's a dude like a Cam Chancellor.
Okay.
It's a dude like a Rod Woodson.
Cam was phenomenal, man. What an athlete. What an athlete.
But like a guy like Rod Woodson,
yeah,
or Ronnie Lott, those guys were just nuts too. You know,
Ronnie Lott's Hall of Fame, bro. I wouldn't fight Ronnie. Ronnie Lott's probably 70 plus. I wouldn't fight him to this day
John Lynch.
or him.
Yeah, like that's the strong safeties that I think about when I think about, guys that could fit this scheme and that would be the ideal guys for this scheme. Even though John Lynch was a cover two guy, throwing him in a cover three and letting him roam more is only going to be better. Troy Polamalu, another guy that really just fits. Not free safety, you got Jesse Bates, but I mean, if you're looking forever, Brian Dawkins is a guy, Leroy Butler, Reggie Nelson, the eraser. He doesn't get talked about a lot, but Reggie Nelson was phenomenal when he was with the Bengals. One of the best free safeties out there for the Bengals. And he just doesn't get talked about enough because he didn't put up a ton of interception stats.
Okay.
But he was out there creating havoc. And he was out there taking away the deep ball, which is what you want your free safety to do.
Okay.
But yeah, Bates is, if there's one position on this entire defense that you're just like, yeah, I'm set there for a couple of years, it's free safety. You're not worried about Jesse Bates.
I do have a question for you. At the essentially the nose tackle, is Rook a little undersized for that? Does he need to gain some weight?
If he's 295, yes.
Okay.
I don't think he's 295.
Okay.
I think so. One thing that you'll notice in the NFL from year one to year two, rookie year to second year, the vast majority of NFL players gain 10 to 15 pounds of just muscle.
Okay.
Getting into that pro strength program, getting into that pro nutrition program, not eating just chicken breast and broccoli all the time, but really getting into a real nutrition and strength program really helps these guys out. And I think Rook is going to be one of those guys that just, we'll see him this year and we'll be like, dang, did he put on 20 pounds?
Okay.
And it'd be all muscle. And he'd look like Obafemi with pads on if you're a wrestling fan. But Obafemi's a dude in NXT who just looks like a brick shit house, and then you just throw some pads on him and boom. That's what I expect Rook to look like.
Gotcha.
I even expect Dorless, who was like 280 last year, to come up to about 290 this year. I think that's going to be helpful. And Harrison's about 285. So you've got guys that are the right size, length, real long arms all the way across. That's going to make a big difference. But don't put it past the team to take a one technique at 15. A guy like Kenneth Grant could be a fantastic fit. He's very similar to Haloti Ngata, another guy that was a great one technique, who you just throw him in there and he's eating double teams all day. He might get one sack all year. He might get maybe 15, 20 tackles all year. But if he's in there and he's eating double teams and your entire group is eating, he's your sacrificial lamb, if you will.
Right.
But he takes a lot of stress off your linebackers, takes a lot of stress off your other pass rushers, because they're like, I just got to beat my one guy and I'm there.
Okay.
So I think the goal this year, like if they do get a guy like Kenneth Grant, the goal will be to have Grant be that guy and really boost the team. I don't think Deion Walker is any good. He has horrible pad. So I'm just looking at the comments. Michael keeps talking about Deion Walker. Deion Walker has horrible pad level. He plays a 3 technique. He's not a 1 technique. He's not a guy you just throw in there and say, hey, shoot through. He plays way too high. He gets bad leverage. He has a bad back with multiple spinal surgeries coming up in his career. You can already see it. He's not the guy. He's big. He's strong. He dances like a bear. But he's not going to be that impactful at the NFL level, especially not early. He's also like a 4th round prospect, right? He's probably going to be day 3. Taking that guy to day 3, I'd rather have Zeke Biggers out of Georgia Tech. Because Biggers is a way better player at actually eating double teams and playing in the 1 technique. Deion Walker doesn't actually sit there and eat other teams. Deion Walker goes against single teams all day because he's a 3 technique and his 1 technique's doing his job.
Okay.
So again, the 1 technique is your sacrificial lamb. If you
Gotcha.
can get away with it, you'd want to use Onyemata there and have him rotate with a guy like Grant, or like in the second round, there's a guy Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. That'd be perfect.
Hmm.
He's a 1 technique. These like 6'4", 330-pound dudes that have great pad level and eat double teams for their college teams. Those are who I trust.
Okay.
Not the 6'8" guy who is going to have a bad back next year because he's already showing signs of degeneration in his spine.
How can you tell that?
It was released at the combine.
Oh, they really? Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
the combine medical released, and that's what they said.
All
So
right.
that's why I'm not a fan of that particular player.
Totally understand. So let's move on to 335.
So this is Cub. This is Cub or Penny. There's a couple different ways to look at it, and what to call it really.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a 5-1, right? When you're looking at it, it's 5 defensive linemen, but your ends are standing up, and then you've got a mic in the middle, and then you've got 5 defensive backs.
Gotcha.
Outside corners basically stay the same. Right now, I have Clark Phillips penciled in as the nickel. I don't know if that's going to be the long term.
Gotcha.
I don't think the Falcons are in the market for a nickel at some point.
Okay.
Safeties basically stay the same. But this look is good. It gives you 2 5 techniques. Harrison, Dorless, those are probably your starting guys there. They both played a 5 technique in college. In this formation, though, you want your nose tackle to be a 2-gap nose tackle. You want him to play 0 technique. When the Falcons were running this last year, they had a 0 technique that they were using in Eddie Goldman.
What is a 0 technique?
Head up on the center, take control of the center, decide where you're going from there.
Okay.
Decide where you're going to create the havoc. So fresh off the ball, you pop, grab hold of the center, and then decide where to go.
Okay.
The 5 techniques are supposed to do that same thing in this formation with the tackles.
Okay.
So if you're controlling the center and the tackles, those guards are roaming, and either you're going to have free lanes with your outside guys, your Will, your Sam, or your Mike's going to be able to cut in. The guards are going to try and splay out and take out those 5 techniques, but they're not always going to be fast enough. Your tackles are going to try and splay out and take out your guards or your outside guys.
Okay.
This is a formation that I really enjoy.
Okay.
I will play with this formation in Madden pretty much every play.
Now, when you play with this formation in Madden, are you in man or it looks like you're in man with these guys up, but I don't know. Are you in man or zone?
I mix up coverage all day.
Okay.
I never play the same coverage, right? The Falcons will run a lot of man out of this, but every now and again you'll see a cover 3 call. Every now and again you'll see, a cover 2 call. Okay. And now you notice with this, there's just the 1 linebacker truly with Anderson or Diablo at the mic.
Right.
That guy's got to be a coverage hound. That guy's got to be able to drop back, cover a bunch of ground. Those 2 guys can do that.
Okay.
At Sam, Floyd, and Trice, same kind of thing. At Will, Ebiketie, I said Malone or a pick, but honestly, I could see Ellis playing the Will in this. Because the idea is that guy can drop back into coverage if need be. And if you've got Ellis there, he can easily drop back into coverage and be, as an edge, Ellis is good in coverage, right? As a linebacker, Ellis is lacking in coverage.
Gotcha.
So
I'm guessing as an edge, your area to cover is less.
Correct.
Okay.
Like maybe you're covering the flat on that side.
Okay.
Where you're doing a shorter hook zone, but you're not covering, a middle third or a Tampa 2 like you would as a Mike.
Okay.
So the problem is the Falcons would call Tampa 2. They'd have Ellis at Mike, and Ellis couldn't do it.
Okay.
They'd call Tampa 2 when Anderson was healthy, have him at the mic. Anderson was looking like a stud. So
He just
there
can't
is a
stay
difference there.
healthy. He can cover. He can't stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's why they brought in Diablo.
Yeah,
In my opinion, is
I agree. I
stay
agree with
healthy.
you 100%. Yeah,
Diablo
from the
also
tub.
stay healthy, but if you've got those two guys for 15 of your 17 games, you're not getting that middle of the field exposed.
Okay.
But again, this is why I think they could very well look into Jahad Campbell. Because Anderson and Diablo aren't true mics. In the run game, they're going to get washed out.
Okay.
So in this formation, yeah, you're okay with them in a shotgun because your lineman can protect them and get them a clean look. But when it comes to like a single back, just standard 13 personnel single back pistol, Anderson or Diablo is getting washed out by a guard. I'm just being honest here. They're going to get washed by a guard. And then you need Helms or Bates to make that tackle.
Yeah. Because everything all up front. I mean, you've got, to your point, you only have the mic. Your depth is the mic and the safeties, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want your safeties to be strong in coverage. You want your mic to be really strong in coverage. And Jahad Campbell, to me, that's why I keep bringing him up. He would be that guy at the mic that could handle all that and would be a great fit.
Okay.
So that's why I keep bringing him up, is because they ran this probably 30 to 35% of the plays last year, this type of alignment.
Okay.
They ran base 30 to 35%. And then this next alignment that I set up, that's about 25%. That was the majority of what they ran outside of those other two alignments. And this is what we remember them getting cooked in.
Oh. And why was that?
Because Anderson was out. And you had either Bertrand or Nate Landman playing that will position, and they can't cover.
Okay.
And you had Ellis playing that mic, and he can't cover. So you had a big old coverage hole right in the middle of the defense in the intermediate area.
Okay. Might the Falcons try and draft? So here are my thoughts, right? I think you got to trade down because you need multiple picks. You need multiple picks. You, and in my humble opinion, and I can admit
I agree.
nowhere near. I'm nowhere near Scott Carissa. But I feel like for this defense, you need one edge, one D tackle, two linebackers. Cornerback, safety, great, but you got to like that.
I think
You got to address it, and the linebackers you got to address.
I think you're somewhat on track, right?
Okay.
I think you need a mic. I think you're okay at will. I think you got a bunch of guys that can play will and be effective there, right?
Okay.
I think you need a true mic, like a true, just unadulterated Brian Urlacher that you can find in that position. A true unadulterated Luke Kuechly that you can put in that position. That's number one, right?
Okay.
I think you need to add a player to the edge rotation. I don't think edge needs to be forced in the first round.
Okay.
So many people are saying, oh, we need an edge. Oh, we need an edge. Oh, we need an edge. If we don't go edge, I'm going to do something dumb. Like, come on now. There are some guys in the second round that'll provide exactly what the Falcons need at edge, which is more of that rotational guy. What the Falcons need to do at edge is let Harrison and Ebiketie and Floyd and Trice play. Let these guys out there and put them on the damn field. So you do need a defensive tackle, probably a nose. You do need an edge rotational player. You do need a mic. I think you need a corner that can play in the nickel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need competition at safety.
Yeah.
I mean, you need one guy in every unit. You need one guy in your interior defensive line room. You need one guy in your edge room. You need one guy in your linebacker room. You need one guy in your corner room. You need one guy in your safety room. And then they also need a center. They also need a future right tackle. They also need, potentially another burner at wide receiver or running back that can be a returner. I mean, like that's what you've got.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna find all that in the draft though. Like that you because with what you that's
They
eight.
have to,
You said what?
but they have to be successful. They have to have a good defense. They have to.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
they
no,
don't
no.
find it this year.
The defensive players I'm okay with. The wide receiver, we can wait on that. Like I'm looking at it like let's say we trade down and we get right now we have 5 picks, which are basically 3 picks and 2 lottery tickets, right?
Two
So
guys that are depth special teams guys. Yeah,
okay, okay. Um, you probably are gonna need at least 2 to 3 more picks to
yeah.
do something, right? So we got to trade down for that. So that's 6 guys that of the 6 picks, what do you say? 4 have to start day one?
No. See
3?
that's the other thing that people are getting confused here,
Okay.
right? I don't think there's 4 starting roles up for grabs. I don't think there's even 2 starting roles up for grabs.
Okay. Okay.
I think the Falcons are very comfortable. If they had to start with this group tomorrow, they'd be very comfortable with this group.
Okay. Okay.
I think the Falcons are looking to add studs to this team that can help give them
Bill,
some more variation,
bro. Okay.
give them some more stuff. These are pieces that they don't have. But I mean, you want to have 4 guys that may not be starters this year, but can be starters over the next couple of years, right? Kind of like how Rook wasn't a starter last year, but he's starting this year. Dorless is probably your starter this year at 3 tech. Harrison's definitely your starter at strong side defensive end. So I mean, at this point, you want the guys that you've been drafting over the last few years to start games.
Yeah. Yeah. I can get behind that, man. I can get behind that.
You know,
We got about 15 minutes. You want to do a draft? You think we could do a draft in 15?
yeah, we could do a draft in 15.
All right, let's do it. You know what I do with your drafts, right? I
Say it
take
again.
your draft and I steal them, and then I go and impress Jack on Sunday. I'm telling you what I do. I'm telling you, and I take all the credit for it. No, I'm sorry. I do. I do. I do give you credit. I don't do that, but I do steal them. I'm just so you know. So
I
everything
mean, I get it.
I think we may even have a show tonight. So whatever you pick here, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna screenshot it, and I'm gonna use that tonight. And the guy, they love it, man. They think I'm some guru. They don't know that I work with the guru on Wednesdays at 4. So that's got to be our little secret, Scott. All right, you got to that's got to be a little secret. I'm just saying. Hang on, let me close this. I do use it though. I used it last week, as a matter of fact. Where is this? I gotta find it. Oh boy, where are you hiding, buddy? Oh wait, there you are. Mock simulator. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Entire screen. And that's all right. We're going Falcons. Fast. We're going to enter the draft room. Are we trading?
Let's see what happens.
All right.
Let's see who's there and who might be interested in trading up with us.
All right. Start. All right.
Ted
So
McMillan's there.
you said what?
Ted McMillan, number 9, the number 9 prospect, Ted McMillan.
Okay.
That's a trade guy.
Yep.
So I would look into a trade. And I would look with the Chargers.
They got a bunch of picks.
They got a bunch of picks. 15 for us. For 22, 86, 125. And just hit trade. So drop down about 7 spots, pick up a 3 and a 4. Very common trade. 4 trade offers. I would reject that in a heartbeat. Reject. Trade down 4 spots for a 4. Not worth it. And no.
Okay.
All right. Let's see who's available here. So
Will Johnson, Jade
okay.
Barron, Mike Green.
Okay. All solid pick. Malachi Starks, all good picks. I do want to talk about James Pierce real quick.
All right.
I would never draft him, period.
He can't take instruction. Is that the word on the street?
He is uncoachable.
Damn.
He just does not, he's not the guy. So I'm sure there's some Falcons fans out there that love James Pierce. If he's a 4th round pick, absolutely. But no, just absolutely no. If I'm running the team, absolutely not. I don't want that. I want team players that understand it's about the logo on the helmet, not the name on the back of the jersey.
So he's a me guy.
He's a me guy.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's about the Falcons winning. It's not about him winning.
Understood.
Now, in this situation, I really like Mike Green here.
Okay.
Out of Marshall.
Okay.
I think he's a great fit for what the Falcons do. And he could be that guy. I'm going to tell you right now, he is a rotational player year 1.
Okay.
He is not a starter. And that's okay. But he's coming in and pass rushing. Just don't take these trades.
No.
You can take trades like this all day in these kinds of simulators, but keep a little realism on it. Let's just not take any of them.
All right. Just reject it.
All right.
We got Luther Burden, Maxwell, Josh, Azarian.
So we're not touching Maxwell Harrison.
There's your guy,
Tyleek. You want that nose tackle in the middle. Tyleek Williams is a great fit. So he's your one technique, right? He's that guy that would free up Rook and free up these other guys. I would take Tyleek here.
Okay.
Now, they say that's a B, but anybody who knows the Falcons' schemes, needs, all that would say it's an A.
Bro, if you say it's an A, I trust you. I don't even care what they say. I don't care.
So,
Scatterbo. Oh, wait. No, we don't need a running back. Especially not here. Shut up, Terry.
hit IOL.
We got Tate Ratledge, I see right off.
All right. So
like
none
Charles
of
Grant, right?
I do, but not this spot. So go back to all.
All right.
Scroll down just a little bit. You might see Demetrius Knight.
Yep, right there, linebacker.
Demetrius Knight was the Mike for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Led that defense. He profiles more as a will in the NFL, but he's a good block shedder. So honestly, I would take him in Atlanta as the Mike. And I think he could be a long-term Mike and really be a good fit there.
Demetrius Knight it is.
He's a great fit for what we do here.
Let's do it. We're rejecting this, right? Yeah, we're rejecting it.
Rejecting
all these trades, damn it. All right, so we got Oluwafemi, Oladejo. Oh, I got it. What? Okay, I will never do that again. You got Charles Grant here.
Okay, scroll down a little bit more.
Chris Paul, another linebacker.
Who's there at corner and safety?
So at corner, you know what? Let's look at corner. Jalen Smith, Upton Stout. Sorry about that. Zay Quincy Riley, Noel Williams, Tommy Hill. That's corner. Jordan Hancock, Jabbar Muhammad, Jalen Smith.
Who's at safety?
Kevin Winston Jr., Jonas Thanker, Caleb Ransaw, Malachi Moore.
Okay.
Dan Jackson, Craig Woodson, RJ Mickens. Dean Clark. What are we thinking here?
So I don't mind Kevin Winston. I do think his fit is much more of a strong safety in the scheme and honestly in general. Really good tackler, but he has a lot of injury questions.
Yeah, we don't need that.
But it's also a 4th-round pick, right?
Okay.
This is where you take those guys that can be locker room guys, hardworking guys, developmental guys. And I think he's competition at strong safety, and I think he's better just from the few games he did play. I think he showed more than DeMarco Hellams did.
All right, so we'll take. So we're taking him, right? That's what we're
I
doing.
would take
All
for
right.
depth and competition at safety, absolutely.
All right. Now we can trade down. We're rejecting that. Rejecting that. Rejecting that. All right.
Okay.
So Malachi Moore still on the board.
Go
Wow.
back to so this is the one guy for each unit, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to show you. So go to corner. There's a guy, Jordan Hancock from Ohio State. You want a good nickel? That's a guy to take.
All right. Took Jordan Hancock. We got 2 more picks.
Now go back to all. Because that'll help us kind of just see what's out there. While it's kind of loading, you got the edge guy, the nose tackle, the linebacker, the safety for competition, and the nickel corner. That's what you just took.
Gotcha. What do you think about? Oh no, you said he sucked. You're not a fan of Jack Kisser, correct?
That Kaiser, I don't think he fits Atlanta.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I mean, he's basically what we already have in JD Bertrand. Like they're pretty much the same guy.
So he's Captain Not America. Got you. Q Robinson, what do you think about him?
I think he's a better pass rusher than Shamar Stewart.
That's not saying much. But it's a 7th-round pick. What are we thinking here? What are we?
So, do you think that Q Robinson can beat out D'Angelo Malone for the 5th edge guy spot?
I'm by your
also playing solid
no. Your tone is telling me no. So
or do you want to look at the IOL and see if there's a potential center in the mix?
I thought you were going to say that. Is Willie here? Willie is not here.
Willie Lampkin's not there. He's moved up boards.
He's gone.
That's what happens. But Luke Kandra's there.
Luke Kandra,
very smart guy. Hasn't played center yet, but can. Teach him how to snap. Let him work behind Newsel. Newsel wasn't a college center. Newsel was a right guard.
All right. Luke Kandra it is. Let's get ready for our final pick.
And Kandra's a 310-pound center, which for a center is big. This time, just go to all.
All right. Want to look at a wide receiver here? Or a tackle?
I look at a returner.
All right.
So, Caleb Prather might be a guy that can work. But he's 6'3". You don't really see a lot of 6'3" returners. Go to running back. Now, I know the Falcons did just sign Jamal Agnew to be a returner. I'm not forgetting about that. But a potential returner is always a good idea if you've got that guy available. With the 7th, it's not worth, it's not worth passing on.
Gotcha.
The other thought here is maybe a second corner.
Okay. O'Donnell Fortune. Wow.
O'Donnell Fortune right there. 7th round, right at the end. Playmaking guy.
We taking him?
In the room. Absolutely.
All right.
Get competition in the room. Have multiple guys that can play nickel or outside. Have guys who can compete for center, have guys who compete all over for playing time. This is the kind of draft that you probably don't have a single starter this year in this draft. And a bunch of people are going to be mad. Day one starter, I should say. By the end of the year, Demetrius Knight's playing linebacker for you. He's your Mike.
Okay.
By the end of the year, Tyleek Williams is your starting one tech.
Okay.
By the end of the year, Jordan Hancock or O'Donnell Fortune is going to be your nickel.
Okay.
You may want to hit save and go to the next screen for this.
Mm-hmm.
It'll let you have it all right there on one page.
Okay. Thank you for that. Yep.
But yeah, I'm not like this. This to me is a Terry Fontenot style draft that not everybody's gonna love, but actually feels like it's gonna provide some hits. And everybody gets worried that all these guys that he drafts aren't, starters.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a position where you're drafting first round starters every single year.
Have to start, yeah. Yeah. That have to start.
Second round guys starting. You don't want that. That's a bad situation to be in where if every single pick you make starts, that's a bad roster.
Agreed. Because that means your talent that you already have sucks. So yeah, man. Look at Scott, as always, man. This is fun, and I learned so much, and I cannot thank you enough. I love to learn. I love football. I love to learn about football. What's not to like? I think our audience feels the same way. Tell these people where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Karasik S. Or you can find me on my Substack. I've been posting a couple scouting reports already. I did one on Emeka Ibuka. I did one on Jonah Sayava. Or Savanaya. I always get his name messed up. And then I've got one on Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant is really I'm a big fan of his. I see the next Haloti Nada out of that guy.
Okay.
Like that dude's a beast.
Okay.
And just kind of read up on those, and I've got them up on my Twitter page, and you can go into my Substack. It's free. I don't charge for my information. I'm just putting it out there because I feel like putting it out there, which also means that you can't complain if I don't do the prospect you want me to do.
Amen. It's free. And you can't beat free. Okay? Because free is free.
Free is free. I'm probably not going to be super nice when I do my Shamar Stewart scouting report.
I didn't think you would be, Scott. Something told me your tone.
It is coming, and it's not going to be. It's not pretty. My notes are not good for him. I don't like the way he plays football. I don't think he plays it properly. I don't think he has any awareness. So that's all going to come through. And I went into Shamar Stewart just kind of looking. I'm like, it could be a 5 tech, right? Like maybe. I was like, we kind of already have a 5 tech in Harrison. And then I just started watching. I'm like, okay, maybe that's all he can do is sit there and hold a guard or hold a tackle all day. Like that's all he's like, do something, dude. And I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that's technically wrong with his game. Okay. You need to be very patient. Like he is not a first round pick. First round pick should be able to jump in and impact in some way his rookie year. Gotcha. Whether he's a rotational guy as an edge rusher and he gets, 5-6 sacks and he's helping create some chaos in the backfield or like all that, especially at edge rusher, right? Like if we're comparing him to Mike Green should be higher on everybody's board. If we're comparing him to Michael Williams, Michael Williams is an elite level run defender coming out for the college game. And he happens to be a really good pass rusher. Michael's struggle is you don't want to drop him into coverage because he literally sucks so bad they cut it out of the scheme at Georgia for him. But you know what? He's my edge rusher. I don't give a damn if he can cover.
Right. No, I got it.
Want him to get after the quarterback and stuff the run. If you can do those two things well, if I'm dropping him into coverage, it's just because I think I've got a chance to mess with the quarterback.
Gotcha.
No.
That makes sense.
Michael's so damn good. If he's the pick at 15, I'm buying his jersey because I think he's going to be here for a long time.
Are you joining us draft night?
Draft night, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Love that. Love that. Stay as long as you like. Definitely, because well, we're picking 15, so we're probably, what'd you say, maybe
Like 9 o'clock,
you think
maybe 10 o'clock.
15? You think
Oh,
nine?
wait. We're talking. The draft starts at 8, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking
like
9:30.
10:30.
Yeah. Unless we
That
trade down and then it
15 minutes of pick, 32 picks. That's gonna go 4 hours.
yeah. Yeah. So
Easy.
that's cool, man. But I'm glad you're gonna be with us. That's gonna be fun. To everyone watching this on X or Twitter, I call it Twitter, whatever, X. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can see Scott and myself every Wednesday on this channel. The name of this show is called What the Falcon. It can be seen at For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube, or you can just grab the link below, go to it, like, share, and subscribe. It helps us to get into the algorithm and more people get a chance to see it. And it makes us, it enables us to provide more content like this to you quicker. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone in the chat who joined. Thank you to everyone on every social media platform who joined. We hope you enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. I think Scott enjoyed it. And guess what? We'll be back next Wednesday. You guys have an amazing day. I want to thank God. I want to thank Scott for joining me, and obviously for providing the defensive breakdowns. Appreciate that. Um, I think I'm going to start playing Madden with you, Scott, so I can go back and kick my friend's ass. I'm serious about that. I've got a guy that I work with that's been taunting me, threatening me that he's going to destroy me. And so, offline, I might need a few lessons because I can't lose to this. I just can't. But
You
anyway,
you PlayStation or Xbox?
I am PlayStation.
Okay, good.
That's what's up. That's
I'll,
what's up.
I'll send you my PSN.
I appreciate it. So, Dave, I'm going to kick your ass, Dave. Just so you know, I know you watch the show, Dave. I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. All right. No, seriously. Guys in the chat, thank you for joining us. I want to thank God for waking me up and obviously bringing me and Scott together and allowing us to do this show. Last but not least, I want to thank Mr. Jack Spade and Eric Parker for giving me my chance in this business. You guys have an amazing day. I will see you probably tomorrow at 8:45 with the Morning Chop Shop with my guy, John from Out of Your Falcon Mind. We'll be talking about these Braves and how they're killing us. Jesus.
Oh, you don't want to see that lineup.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I kind of put myself, I have to talk about it, Scott. But you're right.
I know. I'm just saying they put out a lineup just now, and it is like
Donkey Hooters. It's Donkey Hooters. It sounds like you're
they
saying,
might as well be waving a white flag on the series.
yeah. It sounds like you're saying it's stir fried. You know what? It sounds like that's what you're saying. So
I'm
0
expecting the
and
team to
7.
lose 10-0 tonight.
Sounds like you're saying 0 and 7. And we got who throwing Elder? Shit. Talking about it. Golly. Oh wow. Jesus. All right,
So now
guys.
you
I'm
get
not
where
trying
I'm
to
coming
stress you
from.
guys. Jesus Christ. All right, Scott. You had to bring up the lineup. Shit. All right, man. You guys have an amazing day. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you when we see you. Thank you and goodbye.